worthy first, and then walk with me.
Did you say worthy?
Well, build my life. Walk with me. We'll provide. Okay.
God, we just welcome you here. We ask that you would open our eyes to your presence. We just declare you're worthy. You're worthy of our praise.
Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. You're worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Sing Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. promise to never leave. Hold me through everything. You're all I need. And even when the days feel dark, and even if I fall apart, I never wonder where you are. You're with me through it all. place erupts with praise. Can you hear it? The sound of heaven touching earth. Our Father, all of heaven knows your name. Sing louder. Let this place erupt with praise. Can you hear it? The sound of heaven touching earth. The sound of heaven touching earth. Spirit break out. Break our walls down. Spirit break out. Heaven come down. Our Father, all of heaven knows your name. We'll sing it louder and let this place erupt with praise. Can you hear it? The sound of heaven touching earth. The sound of heaven touching earth. Our Father, all of heaven knows your name. Sing it louder and let this place erupt with praise. Can you hear it? The sound of heaven touching earth. The sound of heaven touching earth. King Jesus, you're the name we're lifting high. Your glory shaking up the earth and sky. Revival, we want to see your kingdom here. We want to see your kingdom here. Oh, Spirit, break out. Break our walls down. Spirit, break out. And heaven come down. Spirit, break out. Break our walls down. Spirit, break out. Heaven come down. And our Father, all of heaven roars your name. Sing it louder. We'll let this place erupt with praise. Can you hear it? The sound of heaven touching earth.
the King and its treasure. Everything else will be added. All that I need, I know the Lord will provide. I know my God's not empty-handed. He gives us blessings upon blessings. I'm still believing. I know the Lord will provide. And seek first the kingdom and its treasures. Everything else will be added. All that I need, I know the Lord will provide. I know my God's not empty-handed. He gives us blessings upon blessings. I'm still believing. I know the Lord will provide. And everything I need, my Father has it. My Father has it. Every single time the Lord will provide. My Father has it. My Father has it. Everything I need, my Father has it. My Father has it. Every single time the Lord will provide. My Father has it. My Father has it. Seek first the King and its treasures. Everything else will be added. All that I'm needing, I know the Lord will provide. And I know my God's not empty-handed. He gives us blessings upon blessings. I'm still believing. And I know the Lord will provide.
Good morning. I'm going to chat for a minute out of Exodus 3, a couple passages out of the book of Exodus. You guys know a guy named Moses? Greatest prophet. At the time, you guys know the story of the burning bush. Moses is a felon. He's a convict. He's a murderer. He didn't get caught, I guess. He's not a convict. But he's a murderer. He's also an orphan. He spent years tending his father-in-law's sheep, and a bush starts on fire. Fairly commonplace at that time, but he thinks there's something out of the ordinary. Turns aside to see it, and when God sees that he turns aside, he shows up to Moses. And he tells Moses that he's heard the cries of his people. I've heard the cries of their people, and I know their sufferings. And you're going to go, and you're going to deliver them. And Moses' response to this is, well, who am I? Who am I? I'm going to go to Pharaoh? Who am I? And God says, I'm going to go with you. Not you, Moses. I'm going to go with you. So Moses is like, sweet, right? Because he knows, like I would know, I'm not qualified for this. I'm not equipped for this. I'm going to go to Pharaoh. His dad tried to kill me. That's why I'm out here. God says, it's not you, Moses, it's me. So Moses, being real smart, he's like, well, who should I tell him sent me? What's his name? And you guys know the response. It's where they came, right? Yahweh. I am that I am. I am who I am. Has anyone ever looked up what that means, Hebrew? Some nerdish, right? Like Benny. No offense, right? Primarily it means three things, and I'm going to just go read this to you shortly. I'm completely self-existent. I don't need anything or anyone. I am. I exist. He simply is. I operate outside of time, and I have no beginning, and I have no end. I have an unchanging nature. I cannot deny who I am. I can't violate who I am. My character, my faithfulness, in everything I say equals everything I will do because I cannot deny who I am. It doesn't matter whether your circumstance changes, nothing can affect that I am this way. And lastly, it means that he is an ever-present help. He is an active presence in your circumstance. I just want to say something real quick. A lot of times when we gather together in church, right, like we feel like we got to come in and we got to just quiet ourselves before the Lord, right? And we got to come in and we're going to praise despite our circumstance. You know that I think sometimes God moves when we praise despite our circumstances. It's true. But deliverance happens when we cry out in the middle of the storm. So Moses goes, we know the story, and he brings the people out, okay? Let's just flip to Exodus 32. You guys are familiar with this. The people have now been delivered out, right? Moses goes up on the mountain. He's getting the Ten Commandments, right? And what happens? What happens to the people? He's been gone. So they're like, what should we do? And Moses' compatriots, right, Miriam and Aaron, they're like, let's build a god. Bring us your gold. I don't know what they were thinking. We could talk about that another time. There's a lot in Moses' life that we could talk about, but I got to keep it brief, even though Jay doesn't. Sorry, I just apologize. So they build the golden calf, right? Okay. God and Moses are together, and they're talking face to face as a friend. Anyone else have that burn in them? And the Lord says to Moses, go down, for your people, whom you brought up out of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. Just hang on for a second. Back in Exodus 2, what did God say? Moses goes, who am I? I'm going to deliver these people. Who am I? What did God say? It's not you. It's me. Those are my people, Moses. I will go with you. I will deliver. I will do signs and wonders. They get up on the mountain. They build the golden calf. And what does God say to Moses? Your people. Just think for a second. This isn't like the normal prayer dialogue we're used to, is it? God says to Moses, your people did this. Go down to them. Watch this. But Moses implored the Lord his God and said, O Lord, why does your wrath burn hot against your people, whom you have brought out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Moses argues with God. He wrestles with God in this moment. He doesn't sit back and go, you're right, God, I'm not a good leader. I've got leadership shortcomings. I've failed over and over. My people have failed. I'm going back down to fix it. He doesn't do that. He said, you said those were your people, and that makes their well-being your problem. And God moves. And God moves. We so often get caught up in where we're at, where we're not, where we misstepped, where I got off course, where I disqualified myself. And what we see when we look at the heroes of the Scripture, they didn't let themselves get in the way of what God wanted to do on their behalf. God acts not because of who we are, but because of who He is. I'm going to just jump into Abraham real quick. Sorry. You guys know the story because I know Benny went through this stuff in detail, but I just have to say something about this covenant with Abraham. When God made a covenant with Abraham and He put him to sleep, Abraham fell into a deep sleep. God walked through on both sides of the covenant. Normally, they would pass each other, one walking one way, the other walking the other way, and make a covenant together. When God made a covenant with Abraham, He put Abraham to sleep, and then He walked by on both behalves. The covenant that God has made with us has really no bearing on our performance or lack thereof. His covenant is with Himself, and He exists outside of everything else. He's forever faithful. He has perfect character, and He cannot deny who He is. And He ties Himself to our circumstances in an ever-present way. So why do I say all this? Because sometimes, what God is waiting for is not praise despite our circumstances. It's a cry to see Him act according to His promise because of who He is, not because of what we've done. So I'm going to pray. Do I pray? No?
Go ahead and pray.
I'll just pray. So, Father, obviously I don't know what I'm doing, and You do. So I ask You, because You are faithful, to act according to Your character, according to Your nature, and according to Your faithfulness on behalf of each person here who has a cry in their heart that their circumstance does not match Your promise.
Thank you, Charlie. What a good word. That is, God made a promise with Himself who couldn't break it instead of making a promise with a man who couldn't keep it. And that's the story of humanity since day one. Right? Beautiful. Some announcements. I hate jumping in announcements because I want to just keep rolling. August 1st, UP City Serve at Lower Harbor. Go and pray down there with people. August 2nd, we're going to be meeting as a church down at Deer Lake towards Munising, not the one in Ishpeming. 10:30 10:30 real time, not 10:30 Water's Edge time. We're going to celebrate some of our kids turning 13. We'll have a picnic, and we'll have baptisms. If you're interested in getting baptized, come chat with me in the meantime. We've got journals that are in the back that I'm going to encourage you guys to be writing scriptures, any kind of wisdom, any kind of encouragement that you have for them, either as a whole or specifically to them. Next adolescent class is going to be Wednesday, July 22nd. So not this Wednesday, the following Wednesday, while youth group is going, which is at 6 p.m. Youth girls, 12 and up, are canoeing August 7th and hiking August 27th. There's sign-ups in the church app, or you can talk with Jake or Randy, and they'll point you in the right directions. Volunteering, if you want to help with sound, let me know, or talk with Josette. Slides, let me know, or talk with Jasmine, who's not here today. Coffee, Crystal, she's the one that's kind of overseeing some of that stuff. Projects, Sebastian over there, put your hand up. Worship, Madison's or the Brinkmans. Okay, that's most of our stuff. Okay, also, this upcoming Saturday, 7 p.m., Danny and Ashley are getting married. Congratulations. And they wanted to let you guys know that you are welcome to come join and celebrate with them. So 7 o'clock this upcoming Saturday, if you want to come and celebrate that, we would love to have you there. Also, my wife and Helen Oman are finalizing details for the women's canoe trip in Wisconsin. Turtle Flambeau Flowage is what it's called. It's pretty cool. Anyways, they've got the details on it. It's going to be $60 a woman. They think they've got like 12 spots or 15 spots. Soon, we'll have Jake or Crystal help us get a sign up for them so that you guys can find that on the church app. I'll put that in the email too. So that all is coming. Okay, can we go back to the word? Good. I just need to get that out of the way. Now we got that out of the way. His presence is everything. His presence is everything. What Charlie is saying, it's like, who am I, right? And God's like, my presence will go with you. Part of what he's also referencing over there where they're wrestling through and God is upset. At one point he's like, listen, I got it. You guys just keep going. Because like, if I stay here with you, I'm going to take them all out. And Moses, that relationship that Charlie was talking about, and he's arguing with him, he's like, no. If we don't go with your presence, he says, nothing will distinguish us from any of the nations of the world except for your presence. The mark is your presence. It's nothing else. It's not, we got the right theology, we got the right this, right that, everything else. No, it's the presence of God is the only thing that distinguishes any of us from the nations. Why? Because we don't earn it. It's not like, oh, we finally hit this level and now I've got the PhD in life theology, yada, yada. No. Every one of us at our end, at our best, is still dependent on the Father. Everything that we need, our Father has it. We just sang it, right? Over and over and over again. Okay. In Matthew 10, Jesus called his disciples to him, and then he sent them on out. We talked a little bit about this last week. Just as a quick reminder, kind of the Hebrew rabbi arc is you're going to hear a rabbi, you learn, you understand intellectually, you watch how he talks, you listen to what he's saying. The second step is you watch the rabbi, so you learn to understand how he embodies the teaching. So he talks the talk. Does he walk what he talks? Okay. And then the third step is becoming or participating in it like the rabbi. So you learn and understand how to walk like them. And then the fourth eventually is teach others how to walk that same path. So the pattern is hear, then watch, then practice, then teach. We on the same page with that? Okay. Then I showed you that big picture-wise, that's what we're seeing with Matthew, right? So Matthew 5 through 7 is hearing the rabbi. So he's going through the Sermon on the Mount. He's teaching. He's saying, this is what the kingdom of heaven looks like. And Matthew 8 and 9 is, let me show you what I talked about. Here's the walk, so watch me do this. Then in Matthew 10, it's practice becoming like the rabbi. He's like, okay, I'm going to take you, put you in pairs, and I'm going to send you out. Good luck, right? And so that's what Matthew 10 is. And then later on, you have teach others to follow the path. Did they ever get to that point? I would say yes. Partly how I say yes is because Matthew, after Jesus has been buried, resurrected, he's writing a book named Matthew, a gospel, where he's now teaching others to go through this process. Does that make sense? So you see the progression of what it looks like. Okay. Last week, I gave you this example. Matthew 5 through 7, he teaches, blessed are the peacemakers. And then 8 and 9, he brings peace to those in storms, those with demons, those with disease, those who are mourning death, right? And then in Matthew 10, he says, hey, I'm sending the disciples, I'm sending you out to carry peace. So give peace freely. Go into a town, find a man of peace. Pray your peace, give your peace to the house. If there's somebody of peace in the house, it'll rest on them. And if not, it'll come back to you. So they're peacekeepers and peace givers. Okay, do you guys see that progression? I had asked you guys last week, if you guys remember, hey, see if you can find any others. Did anybody take any time to find any other of these connections? I'm not here to shame you. I just want to invite you guys if anybody was like, I see this clearly. No. Okay. You guys want me to roll through some more? Good. Otherwise, it would be really short. Some of you are like, oh, man, we had a really short chance. Okay. Here's another one. Okay. Hearing the rabbi. Jesus teaches as one with authority, right? We've talked a number of sermons about what it means with authority. So there's a revelation of what the kingdom looks like. Then he exercises his authority over disease, over demons, over sin, sin, over nature, over uncleanness, over death, right? So it's the incarnation of the king in his kingdom. Then it's practicing becoming like the rabbi. So Jesus delegates his authority to his disciples over unclean spirits and disease. Here's where you have the participation with the king in his kingdom. So you go from revelation or information to incarnation into this participation. And when you participate in the kingdom, that's what is the transformation in our lives. Okay? Here's another one. Teaches, blessed are the merciful, right? And then Jesus is merciful in touching lepers, healing servants, paralytics, eats with the tax collectors, restores unclean women, raises a child. And then he says, I desire mercy, not sacrifice, okay? And then in Matthew 10, he sends them out and tells them to have mercy by healing the sick. Freely you receive, freely give. I get a double dose of the Catholic bells today. Just when I was like, I made it through without distraction. Here we go again. They're like, wait a second, there's more. All right, let's see if you guys can get this one. In Matthew 5 through 7, he teaches about God's provision. We just sang about God's provision, right? So he says, don't worry, don't be anxious in anything. Seek first the kingdom, right? Seek first the kingdom. Then, right after that, he travels constantly, not accumulating possessions, security, having all of his provisions set up in advance, right? He can get in a boat. He can go to the other side. He's not worried about how they're going to feed anybody, anything else. He's walking out what it looks like to trust the Father one day at a time, one step at a time, one village at a time, one location at a time, right? And then he sends them with no gold, no silver, no extra bag, no extra clothes. Trust even that he will provide you with words in his time. Everything you need, our Father has it. Our Father has it. He will provide everything you need. Part of why we sing these songs is not because we're singing the songs because we like this information we want to sing to God. Part of it is we are rewriting inside, internally, an invitation for our own souls to be like, whew, okay, if I have something where I need provision, it's because I need provision. Who do I go to? Do I go to him or do I go to myself? It's an invitation for us to actually walk by faith and show our children how to walk by faith. Does that make sense? But so you see this process. Don't worry. Don't be anxious. Seek first the kingdom. And then by then he's like, you know what? I'm going to send you, but I'm going to send you with nothing and everything. Because what will distinguish you from the nations? His presence. I am sending you with myself. My presence will go with you. You don't need anything else. Listen for your Father. When you get taken in front of synagogues, when you're flogged, when you're taken in front of kings and governors, don't even worry about what you're going to say. The Spirit of God, because I am with you, will use you. I will speak through you. You know what? You're hungry. Don't worry. I will send somebody of peace to feed you. Don't have a shelter. I didn't either. But I'll still provide. Right? But sometimes for us to see his provision, we have to earthly see the lack where we're like, I need provision. And that should lead us to crying out, like what Charlie was saying, is when we're in a place where we're like, God, I need you. That's the place where he starts saying, you know what? I wasn't withholding from you. I wasn't at a place where I need you to earn my blessings. I'm trying to invite you to understand that I was always the provider from day one till now. I am, right? Okay. Jesus teaches, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you, in 5 through 7. Who would have been an enemy to the Jews that time? Who? Everybody. In particular, giving me a more specific. The Romans. And of the Romans, who's the most dangerous of the time? The soldier Romans, right? So do we have a story in 8 and 9 where he walks out what he's talking about a centurion? Yes or no? He loves them. He's like, oh, you know what? I see your faith. I haven't even seen faith like this among the Jews. And they're like, are you kidding me? This guy's our enemy. And he's like, I just taught you on the hill. We love our enemies. Now, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Also, I'm going to send you in Matthew 10, guess what? Out, and you're going to be flogged. You're going to be in front of kings. You're going to be in front of governors. You're going to, people will turn against people, daughters against parents. You're going to have parents against kids. You're going to have brothers and brothers. There's going to be a whole lot of that mess. Love them anyways. Right? He sends them out just like that. In fact, he says, as you lose your life, you'll find it. Okay? Here's another one. Jesus teaches you to pray. Then he invites them to pray that the Lord of the harvest would send workers, which seems like a little bit of a setup, doesn't it? Right? Because immediately after they're moved with compassion, like, oh man, the fields, they're full. Yeah, why isn't the Lord of the harvest sending out workers? And God's like, I was wondering if you were going to pray that. Why don't you guys go? You guys can answer that prayer. Sometimes we get to embody the answer to the prayer. He moves us with compassion. And sometimes he moves us with compassion because we're at a soft spot where we're willing to connect heaven to earth around us. Right? Okay. Talking about compassion. Jesus teaches compassion that leads to intentional missional living. Right? So Matthew 5 through 7, he says, love your neighbor. 8 and 9, Jesus had compassion because they were harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. So he healed and he loved the neighbor that was right in front of him, regardless of their gender, their age, their spiritual situation. And when I say that, I mean he was healing people that had demonic activity. So it's not like they were walking with God. He was like, no, actually, I can restore that too. I've got authority over that too. And then he invites them, hey, take that compassionate prayer of yours, missionally go to the lost sheep of Israel. Have compassion on them. Have mercy on them. Proclaim the good news. Okay? Here's another one. Matthew 5 through 7, Jesus teaches, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Pause. Stop looking at my screen for a second. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Another way to say it, the kingdom is present. Which is fascinating, right? Charlie was just talking about hey, it's all about God's presence. My presence will go with you. I am, right? If Jesus is talking about a heavenly kingdom and he says the kingdom is in front of you right now, it's at hand. It's present in the room. What he's claiming is, it's me. Right? That's wild. Because wherever the king goes, the kingdom is there. You guys with me on that? Okay? So then we see him walking it out. Jesus reveals the kingdom. It arrives, right? Diseases flee, right? We got the storms that are obeying. You've got nature. You've got demons that are fleeing. You've got death that retreats. You've got all of these things that are happening as his presence comes in the room. And then, Matthew 10, he tells them to proclaim the kingdom of heaven has come near. But part of it is he gives the authority. When a king gives authority to somebody, like old school ways, they would give a staff or a signet ring or whatever, and you are acting on behalf of the king. You are a representative of the king, and wherever that person goes, it's part of the kingdom. right? If you want to go old school, it's like Joshua and Caleb, where God's like, hey, go into the promised land, and everywhere your footsteps, checking on you guys. You guys should be checking in on me. Everywhere your footsteps, you'll inherit. The kingdom advances wherever they went because they went on behalf of the king, right? Jesus is giving his authority and he's sending them out, and they bring the kingdom wherever they're going. Okay, moving on. All right, 5 through 7, Jesus teaches about living for an audience of one. Pray in secret, give in secret, fast in secret for the one who sees your heart and the secret places of your life, right? And then in 8 and 9, Jesus slips away from clouds. He's telling people not to publicize miracles. He's not trying to perform them for applause. He's not looking for his own glory. He's not looking for his own platform. He's not trying to build his name. He's not trying to build his brand. He's not trying to build himself at all. Right? And then Matthew 10, he sends them out without any of the other things. Find house of man of peace. Bring your Father's kingdom. You're not building your own ministry. The 12 disciples weren't sent to go and start planting churches at this point. It wasn't about their image. It wasn't about their brand. Jesus wasn't trying to make a platform for them so that when they're gone, they would have a platform. They were just bringing his kingdom. And they were supposed to live for an audience of one. And how do you live for an audience of one? Well, I'm going to make you dependent on that audience of one so you can't go with anything so that you keep listening to them or else you're in trouble. You're going to feel in physical eyes like you're lacking everything. But in spiritual eyes, I want you to understand and come to an encounter with the living God where my Father has it, everything I need, right? Okay. Teaches you're the light of the world. Sitting in him can't be hidden, right? Second part, Jesus' light can't be hidden from crowds either. Everybody gathers around him. People are talking about him. Everybody is trying to follow where he's going, figure out all of those things. Then he sends them out to be salt and light in villages, but also with a warning, hey, when you're out and people start seeing you, there's going to be ramifications. If they are going to call me Beelzebub, what do you think they're going to do about you? If they're going to come after me, what do you think they're going to do with you? Right? You're going to be brought before all these places. That comes with being seen. Okay. Here's another one. Jesus teaches that narrow road is difficult. Right? Okay. He faces opposition. He faces criticism. He faces rejection. Jesus sends them out as sheep among wolves. A little bit difficult? Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about sheep among wolves next week as we continue in 10. But today I just want to go through these patterns because I want us to start seeing some of what's going on because it's over and over and over and over in these passages. And when you start seeing it, it starts helping you understand some of what he's saying. Okay, here's another one. Jesus teaches that the righteousness has to exceed rule keeping. It has to be better than what they're doing in the synagogues. In the synagogues, all they're doing is holding all of the rules and obedience. It's all this, hey, we've got all of these laws and we got to keep them and this, and this. And they were rejecting everybody. Nobody was allowed into what? The presence of God. They were eliminating everybody from getting into the temple because they still had this belief that God is so distant and it's only for the righteous that can get near. And God's like, no. I actually came to tell you that that's never been the case. I've always been close. I am. My presence is with you. My presence is here. Okay, so how does he show it? Well, he demonstrates righteousness by living with an abundance of mercy and forgiveness and compassion. He brings the kingdom. He brings a righteousness that restores and redeems people, right? He's not just talking about you have to have all of these things right and then you'll be accepted by God. He's like, I actually can love you and my acceptance will transform you, okay? And then he sends up the disciples to embody the Father's character, not just the laws. They're not going to all of the lost sheep of Israel to be like, hey, lost sheep, I know that you've been kicked out of the temple. So let me just come to your town and let you know you're screwing up on this one and this law and this law and this law and this law. You hear what I'm saying? They weren't sent to be like, hey, we need to make sure you people that are not going to the temple, we need to make sure that you know all the laws. That's not what Jesus is saying. He's saying, preach that the kingdom of heaven is near. The I am is near. You have an invitation for an encounter with the living God. Does that make sense? Good. Okay, Jesus teaches about building on the rock. We also sang about that today. Whoever hears these words and does them is a wise man, is what he says in 5 through 7. Okay? 8 through 9. Jesus doesn't just talk that talk. In these chapters, he does everything that he just told them about in the first ones, right? Okay? What about chapter 10? He invites the disciples not only to be hearers, but doers. Going from that third person understanding to first person knowing. Okay, I want to pause for a second. 2 weeks ago, Cody, right? Cody came up here and he was telling you about how he was wrestling with Psalm 23, how like it goes from third person to first person in Psalm 23, and like he was wrestling through it, right? You guys remember that? If not, go back and listen to it. It was a good word, Cody, right? It's when you actually walk through the valley of the shadow of death where information about God turns to revelation about God, which invites us into transformation with God, because you're catching this incarnation of, wait, God actually in my story, right? And you can then start embodying it. It goes from third person to first person, right? All of this is what Jesus is doing. He's starting off with third person in Matthew 5 through 7. Let me teach you what the kingdom of heaven is like. And then he's like, hey, you know what? Let me also show you what it's like. Let me show you what my presence is like. And then, you know what? My presence will go with you. Let me pause for a second. There's a verse, Matthew 10. Truly I tell you, you will not finish going through the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. Okay, scholars debate. Is he talking about transfiguration, the resurrection, Pentecost, second coming, all sorts of things? The answer is probably yes to most of those. At some level, what happens with the scriptures is there are like shadows where it's like he affirms and confirms over and over and over. There's layers to everything. If you've been in this church more than 1 week, you understand that I love the layers, right? There's always more depth. There's always more. And yet I want to just pause and recognize that if you're like consistent with 5 through 7, he's teaching about something. And then 8 and 9, he's walking it out. And 10, he's inviting them to like walk through some more of it. I think personally one of those layers is they're sitting there and they're like, with everybody else, I'm like, who is this one? Even the wind and the waves obey him. Wait, Jesus, we're going to go over to like the Decapolis? Like they're the worst of the worst. Are you kidding me? Wait, we're going to go into like the cemetery area? Do you hear this guy wailing? Even the locals are telling us, don't go there. That dude's filled with a legion of demons. Wait a second. Jesus, you can't touch this woman. Like, she's unclean. She's been unclean for 12. We got to go to synagogue. What are you doing? Like, they're wrestling with all the same things that any of us as humans would wrestle with, I believe. Right? Like, even after his death, burial, resurrection, they're still, like, putting the pieces together. They still haven't got it all figured out. Which, I don't know about you, should be super encouraging. It's super encouraging to me, right? Because sometimes I'm like, oh, well, yeah. Like when I was a kid, I would look at this and I'd be like, okay, Jesus sent them off in pairs. Once they had like their PhD in theology, they understand all of his teachings and they're carrying his authority because they understand it all. Do they understand it all? No, they don't. They're still figuring it out. And so I think at some level, they're like, well, there's a Messiah that's coming. Is this the Messiah? They're wrestling through some of these things, and he says, hey, truly I tell you, you're not going to finish going through the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes, which is a reference to Daniel, to Ramez. There's a bunch of them in the Old Testament when it talks about the Son of Man, right? I think part of it is, I can tell you my story, but until you walk in my shoes, you don't have a full understanding of what it's like. Right? You guys with me? I think Jesus is sending them with authority that they have never had that authority before. And they're walking into these villages. They just watched Jesus go from synagogue to synagogue, town to town, teaching, healing, driving out demons, all of these things. Right? They are observers of this. You guys with me? So not only has he taught it, they've watched him walk it. And now he says, I want you to walk it. And he sends them out in pairs. And they're going through and they're like, okay, now it's on me. It's not on, wait a second, does my Jesus have a connection with the I am? It's, do I have a connection with the I am? Can I hear my Father's voice? Do I trust that He has everything that I need? Do I actually believe that I can walk out here with no gold, no silver, no copper, no extra sandals, no extra clothes, no extra tunic, no anything else? I'm not allowed to phone a friend ahead and be like, hey, can you pick me up and like make sure that I got a hotel room? There's none of that. It's walking by faith. Why? Because Jesus is saying, you're knowing me by third person. You know the Father by third person, but it's time you start walking in a way that when you start walking it, you're going to start actually having the authority of heaven come through you and to others, but you're also going to have to internally recognize, this is not me, this is Him through me. And when you have Him through me, you have this revelation that the Son of Man is with you. Before you get done walking these cities, I think that Jesus was like, you're going to have an encounter with the living God in a way that He is present for you now. Does that make sense? Do I think that it's also these other things? Probably. Probably. Okay? The same is true for each of us today. Oh, man. Like, are we satisfied? Are we satisfied with hearing about the Scriptures? Do we have a desperation in our heart that Charlie was talking about? Like, we cry out, God, like, can you show us your presence? Are we at a spot where He's saying, I'm actually challenging you, start walking in it. You've seen enough of my presence. Get engaged with me. Trust me. I understand that your physical eyes see all of the lack in your life right now, but your Father has it. Everything you need. Right? Here's another one. Jesus teaches that blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. We talked about a purification process with those chapters when we were there. Okay, a silversmith, when you are purifying silver, what do? You purify it, you put it in a fire. The fire is hot. It brings all the junk to the top. We call it dross. They skim the top, and they keep skimming the top. As the fire keeps bringing the junk that's deep down inside to the surface, you got to keep bringing it to the one that's doing it, right? When is the process done? Okay, when you can see your reflection. So the silversmith, when we're in life, and we're in that time where it seems like, man, I am in the fire and all my junk is coming to the surface and I don't want anybody to see my junk. Sometimes the Christian thing to do in America is, I actually need to get lukewarm and back off a little bit. People are going to see that I'm messed up. What He's inviting you to do is actually to keep walking into it and say, okay, yeah, I have to admit the fact that I'm still human and I've got junk. Father, can you take it? Can you skim off the dross? And sometimes we believe a lie that when we're in that fire, He doesn't see us. He doesn't care about us. He doesn't hear us. This is very much the case that was happening in Exodus 3 that Charlie was talking about. The people were like, does He even care about us? Does He even see us? Does He know that we're in slavery over here? In which case, that's everything that those signs were about. And if you don't understand what the signs were about that God gave to Moses to give to the people, please come find me. I'll explain it to you. I understand them. But everything about it was the heart of Him communicating to His people. I have seen every step. I have heard every cry. And I am responding out of compassion. Because I am. Okay? Every part of that. Okay. Jesus is seen by lepers, by women, by demons, by Roman centurions, even blind men, ironically, right? Even people that don't have physical eyes, like, Son of David, come heal me. And they keep following Him. Son of David, Son of David. They're like, listen, I can't see. Where did He go? They're like, bro, He went into that house. Can you show me the door? Ask, seek, knock. They knock. They go on inside. Son of David, can you heal me? He's like, yeah, sure can. He even restores their sight. He shows them, right? Even people physically. Okay, so in 3, sends His disciples out to the lost sheep of Israel to walk in His shoes, in His authority, that before they're done, the Son of Man will come. I think part of it is, hey, you're going to be flogged, you're going to be beaten, all these things are going to happen. But part of walking this out and having that is the fire that's going to get you to a place where your junk comes to the surface and God's going to have an opportunity to clean out some of that dross. And eventually you're going to get to a place where you're going to see me. the reflection of your Father, you're going to see it in each other as you're walking. Make sense? Okay, Jesus called his 12 disciples to him and gave them authority to drive out impure spirits, to heal every disease and sickness. These are the names of the 12 apostles. Okay, we talked a little bit about this last week. The first verse, he calls them disciples, which are learners. Apostles in verse 2. Apostles means the sent out ones. So here's a transition where they're going from learning, from hearing, to doing and being sent out. Okay, first, Simon, who is called Peter, and his brother Andrew. We talked about this a long time ago. Simon Peter, right? And Andrew. Part of why I think Matthew highlights them, and I gave you all the reasons we could talk about another time, is they're probably too old for them to be normally disciples in a Hebrew context. Okay? Late teens, early 20s for those two, probably we can talk about another day. Okay? Then you have James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John. You'd have James first because he's older, John second because he's younger. The fact that it says son of Zebedee, it's because actually, practically speaking, they're probably too young to be called into a formal discipleship role under a rabbi. What does that mean? Probably 10 to 12 years old. Okay? We can talk about that too if you want. Okay? Then he keeps going on. You got Philip and Bartholomew. You got Thomas and Matthew the collector. It's fascinating how he pairs these. Like Thomas, the doubter, right? And Matthew, the tax collector. These are two people that were like, wouldn't have necessarily made the cut under human eyes in a lot of ways. You got James, son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, also might be young. You got Simon the Zealot, right? And Judas Iscariot. Iscariot, sometimes we think is his last name. It's really Ishkariot, which means man of a city called Keriot. Keriot was a village that often was tied to zealotry too. Okay? So even in here, you've got some that are from a Pharisee background. You've got some that are Sadducee influence, some that are Essene influence. We can talk about this, but basically, it's like you've got all of the different denominations that he's picked and different ages, but all of these are probably under the age of like 22, 23. Almost all of these are probably teenagers. Okay? A lot of times in our American culture, we're like, we wouldn't send anybody out to carry any kind of gospel until they've got like at least a master's. So you're probably looking at 28, 30, 26. You've got a lot of years under your belt of formal education. And Jesus is willing to change the world with a bunch of youth. So part of when I say, hey, we want to honor our children and we want to pray a blessing over them, when we want to acknowledge that you're not quite a child anymore, but you're also not quite an adult, you're in this transition period, right? We're trying to honor the fact that, like, if Jesus can do that with his disciples, he can also do that with our children here, okay? Now, I want to just pause for a second. I don't think the disciples were at the end of their training. I don't think they had all the answers of his teachings when he sent them out, right? I don't think they had figured everything out. I don't think they knew it all. I don't think Jesus expected them to have just like an abundance of knowledge of everything of the scriptures. I don't think that he sent them being like, now you can answer all of the questions that anybody has ever had about any of the scriptures. I don't think so. Does that make sense? But he's like, you know what? You can rely on your Father. You're old enough to do that. It's time to start walking it. Okay, this right here. This reminds me of Costa Rica, okay? I'm thankful that this happened to me and not anybody else in the crew because I can make fun of myself, okay? So when we're there, generally speaking, I have 3 shades of color: white, red, and I go white to red to white to red to white to red to off-white is my 3rd color. Not exactly tan, not exactly white, okay? I'm old enough to know I get white to red real quick, so I was doing my best the first day that we were in Costa Rica to stay in the shade, okay? I did my best. I didn't actually get super burned, but I knew that, like, likelihood is it's probably coming. However, we had a bunch of youth with us that all they did was play in the sun. So by end of day 1, there were some people that looked like I normally do, right? And I was like, haha, wisdom. I'm a step ahead of you. But I was like, you know what? I should be kind. I should have some compassion. Also, I know that it probably is coming for me. So that night, I walked, I don't know, it was like, 4 blocks over to a little store, all in Spanish, and I'm like, we're going to need some aloe vera, right? So I went in there. I found a green bottle of a green liquid, and the only English on here says aloe vera. Right? So I was like, nailed it, got it, went home. For days, we're lathering up with aloe vera on our face, on our arms, everything else, which, to be fair, at some level worked because I never got super red, right? I didn't get the lobster color I normally am, so maybe it worked. But I don't know, it was like, what, day 5 or day 4, and our translator, our host was there, and he walks in the room, and he sees this on the table. And he's watching us put it all over our face and our arm. And he's like, what are you guys doing? That's hair gel. It is. I was wondering why I was extra sticky. I was like, oh, Costa Rica makes aloe vera different, right? Aloe vera in the hair gel. He had the biggest laugh ever. And I was like, sorry, guys, did my best. Tried. Okay, I want to pause for a second. The aloe vera content that was in here, I do think actually helped. It at least prevented me at some level from becoming lobster. And I think at some level brought some cooling to the people. Now, I'm not going to tell you that the fine print in Spanish says to, like, wash your hands after you use it, only in your hair, all those other things. But anyways, there was something in here that worked for the problem that I thought I had. But that wasn't the design. That wasn't the fullness of design for this. You guys understand what I'm saying? Let me put it in different words. I think the disciples went out and they walked in the authority of Jesus, but didn't fully understand the fullness of it. I think our youth, as we set them up, as we pray over them, we're inviting them to start walking in things, and sometimes they're going to have a taste, and they're going to think, I understand this scripture, I understand this thing, and the rest of us are like, well, that technically works, but it's not the fullness of what he's trying to reveal. Does that make sense? Kids, I need you to understand that those adults in the room, at our very best, after all of our life, if we spend all of our life trying to pursue him, still at the very end are going to have days where we think that we've got it, and yet we're still not reaching the fullness. I don't want us ever to get complacent with a hunger and a desire for more of his presence in the room. It's not dependent on us. Kids, it's not dependent on how many things we can memorize, what degrees we can get, how many years we've done X, Y, and Z. From start to end, it's the same thing that Charlie was saying about. It's all about his presence. There's nothing that distinguishes us from the nations except for his presence in our lives. It's about a covenant where you've got a God who made a covenant with himself who couldn't break it on our behalf, instead of making covenants with us who couldn't keep it. He knew that we would mess it up. He wasn't shocked by that. He wasn't alarmed by that. And yet he has so much compassion that he's like, I'm going to actually live through you. Right? If we're honest with ourselves and we look at it and we're like, okay, hold on. If the step is that when the kingdom arrives and the family of the kingdom arrives, that all disease runs, demons flee, people are raised from the dead, which, P.S., just so you know, like, happened a week and a half ago to somebody in this church, they're not in the room right now, had somebody die in their living room, and it was 35 minutes later, and they came to, and they were completely fine. Except for the broken ribs. But that's another story. Maybe God will heal those too. 35 minutes, and they're like, hey, what's going on? Like nothing happened. Week and a half ago, okay? But the thing is, we touch and we taste of that. This church has seen some healings. It's actually, we moved into Marquette because of some of the like crazy healings that were not like, could have been this, could have been. No, it was God. It was his presence. We have seen waves of those things. And yet, I'm here to tell you that like we're still at a spot where sometimes we think we got it because we can read aloe vera, but there's a whole lot more. There's a fullness to what he's designed for this church that's a whole lot more. If we can get past the phase of just teaching and hearing, and we say, can you show us your presence? And can you do your presence through us? Can we participate in the kingdom? Okay, what I'm going to do at this point is I'm actually going to invite the Brinkman crew up. When I say that we're going to do the turning 13, sometimes we hit it on 13, sometimes it's not exactly 13. Micah, I'm sorry, we were a little bit behind on that. But the goal is really somewhere in that phase from child to adult that we say, actually, we recognize this thing. So we're going to pray and bless Micah today. And this is just a taste of what the August 2nd one is going to be like. So I'm going to invite the Brinkman crew to come on up. I don't know whether or not they told Micah. Micah, part of it is following when they call you. But what we're going to do is we're just going to pray a blessing over him. I'm going to let his parents share some of the things that they see that God has put in him. You want to grab that one? Okay, so part of why we do this, we want to just recognize what God has put in Micah, that we affirm we see, and we're inviting him to walk it out the way that God has invited us to walk things out. And so I'm going to let you have the microphone. Go ahead and just share what you need and then pray a blessing over him.
So this is my son, Micah Wild. We named him that because God is wild, and he has lived up to that name. He's a wild man. I'm proud of him, and I have really enjoyed being a father, and through the storms and through the fun parts. And Mike, I just am I want to invite you into you're becoming a man. You're no longer a boy. You get to walk into manhood. And being a boy is pretty cool. There's a lot of lack of responsibility and things that are fun, but being a man, there's something pretty great about. And I'm excited to share those things with you. I honor you as my son, and I'm proud of you. And your mother wants to say something? Yeah.
Micah, your dad and I, our hearts are full for you, and we are thankful for you, and you're really cute and darling. And you want me to say that because I'm your mom. But I like who you are. I like who you're becoming. I can see that you're going to be a capable person who, in a crisis, stops and thinks of what to do and moves forward. And so I'm just thankful for the way you think and the way you see the world. And so we'll pray, and we'll pass the mic for a few minutes, and then, okay. God, I just thank you for Micah. I thank you for Micah Wild. I thank you that you made him, you designed him. He's your idea. He's your choice. That the things in him that not everyone will understand, you know and you have made. And I just appreciate, God, his curiosity, his intelligence, his thoroughness, his simplicity in enjoying the natural world. I just thank you, God, for these small little things you've put inside of him. And I just pray that you will bless him to understand that you see him. And I pray that you will bless us as parents, Josh and I, that we will see the things that God sees, and that we will always encourage you in the things that God is doing in you.
God, I just thank you that this is not another day, and it's not random that it's today. I was sitting there, and I was just really struck. I felt like the Lord just wanted to mark you, Micah, today. Rain and thunder was not on the weather. I check it like a 85-year-old man, which I'm proud of. I'd like to be yoked with that, so it's not like a dig. But God, I just thank you that you're marking Micah. You're not marking him with sports. You're not marking him with accolades, God, but you're marking him with you. God, I thank you that you want him for yourself, and this is a special day. So, God, we recognize what you're doing, that you came down today, God, that you came just like his father did to say, I'm proud of this one. This one is going to show himself through me, God. I just thank you that he's a conduit for you, and he's already showed that, God. I heard stories about JV camp, Lord, and so we just mark him, and we agree with you what you're doing today, and just bless him the rest of his life. And I also I asked God, like, what do you have to say for Micah? And he said adventurer. So I just thank you that he's an adventurer too.
Yeah, I just feel, even as Josh was declaring things over you, like, you are your father's son. Like, you are your father's son. You are your father's son. And there's, like, no lacking, but you are your father's son. Whoa. And there's, like, a surrender. I feel like there's, like, a surrender to that truth for you, Micah, of a surrender to, man, I am my father's son. And there's, like, going to become a rest on you in that. Wow, I just thank you for Micah, Lord. I bless him to walk in that truth of being his father's son. Yeah. Thank you, Lord.
It's been really fun to walk alongside Micah. I just standing back here, has got like a specific story I want to share about him. And let's see. Man, he's just like such a leader. Like, the other kids follow you, and you're like, why are you following me? Like, I don't want to be the leader. I don't want to be up front. But it's like God's calling you into being up front. Like, and kids naturally want to follow you. And I think, like, when Mike is assigned something from God, he's just going to go. And I think we saw a little bit of that in our wilderness weekend. Like, we challenged him with the map and compass. And I'm just like, here you go. And he's like, I don't really want this. But he took it, and he just walked, right? And I was like, how faithful to that is that, like, just to walk it out? And that's what you're going to do, I feel like, is like God's going to assign you something, and you're going to be like, this isn't great, but I'm just going to be faithful. I'm just going to walk it out. And when we were all said and done, like, I gave him a compass bearing, hey? Like, it was like, what was it? Do you remember? Like 60 degrees, I think, right? It was just 60 degrees, right? And so I didn't tell him, but I had a GPS tracker going. And we got back to camp probably the next day, hey? And we looked at the map, and Micah naturally walked like 60 degrees from where we were for over 3 miles. And the only way he swayed around the track was to go around an obstacle. And everyone else was following him to go around a swamp, to go around a highland. But he walked, he got back on his path, and he kept walking 60 degrees. I feel like that's what God's saying, is that you're going to do that the rest of your life. You're going to be assigned a task, and you're going to walk it faithfully.
Mike, I've always been confounded by your boldness. Like, when I was a kid, this isn't about me, but I was just like a lot more nervous in front of people or around people, and you have a boldness about you that, yeah, I'm just like, I'm so amazed that God has given you. And I just want to call that out. Like, there's a boldness in your heart towards God that, like, David was a man after God's heart because of his boldness in worship. And he didn't care what others thought. And I just bless that mantle with you, like, that you would no longer look at what your peers are doing, but rather look to your Father and look to please him.
Heavenly Father, I thank you for Micah. God, I just ask that you would bless him. God, I ask that the seeds that you plant in him and through him, God, you would water. You would be the one that would be faithful to bring the rains behind him. God, may you make him completely aware of your presence, especially when he's in storms, when he's in hard seasons, when he's got to walk a path where all he has is a compass. May you be his compass. May you be his guide. May he be aware of your presence. God, I ask that you would bless his feet and where he goes. God, I ask that you would make him aware that everything that he needs, you have. I just ask that you continue to bless him with your goodness and your faithfulness all his days. I ask this in your name. Amen. We were going to do one set, but I just put them back to work. Just because I want to. As we end here, we're not going to be necessarily in a rush because it's raining outside anyways. But if you need to go, I need you to know it's okay. If you want to stay and worship, stay and worship. If you want to come up and you're like, I need some prayer, if you're in one of these front rows, somebody will come and find you after a time and pray with you, okay? If you've got some time and you're like, I just want to sit in it, you can think through any of the notes that I had of like, hey, God is inviting us to trust and to walk with him and to be light or to be salt. Now is a great time to go grab one of those journals in the back and a pen and just write some things to one of the kids as they're going through the same process that Micah just went through. We'll be doing that again in August. Heavenly Father, I thank you for your goodness. God, I ask that you would give us eyes to see you, give us ears to hear your voice, give us a heart that is soft to you. Give us lips that can taste and see that you are good in our lives. God, whether we're at a spot where we're just hearing or watching or trying to walk it or trying to teach it, I ask that you would give us grace for ourselves and for our neighbors around us as we're trying to draw near to you and recognize you drawing near to us. I give you this day and I give you our worship. Amen.
There's no longer room. If it isn't you, I'll make a sacred space. I'll meet with you face to face. I'm closing all the doors to all that isn't yours. I'm only here for you. 'Cause you are my heart cry. You are my heart cry. I don't want anyone else. I don't want anyone else. You are my whole life. You are my whole life. I don't want anyone else. I don't want anything like water to the drought. Pour your spirit out. I'll dig the trenches deep. Come flood through the depths of me. Like summer to the cold. Let this flame in me glow. I wanna catch fire for you. 'Cause you are my heart cry. You are my heart cry. I don't want anyone else. I don't want anyone else. You are my whole life. You are my whole life. I don't need anything else.
desperate for you. Whatever it takes, I'll do. And Jesus, oh, I'm pushing through. I just need a touch from you. Jesus, I'm desperate for you. Whatever it takes, I'll do. And Jesus, oh, I'm pushing through. I just need a touch from you. 'Cause you are my heart cry. You are my heart cry. I don't want anyone else. I don't want anyone else. You are my whole life. You are my whole life. I don't need anything else. I don't need anything else. And you are my heart cry. You are my heart cry. I don't want anyone else. I don't want anyone else. And you are my whole life. You are my whole life. I don't need anything else. I don't need anything Jesus, desperate for you. Whatever it takes, I'll do. And Jesus, oh, I'm pushing through. I just need a touch from you.